Woohoo! This hangout is live. Hello, gorgeous. You're on with Abiola from manifestyouryear.com. That's manifestyouryear.com. Now, everything you're seeing behind me is not for this video. It's for the next video that I'm making right after this, which is about the do's and the don'ts of vision board making. So you want to make sure after you watch this video, which is about affirmation cards, my favorite ones, my favorite decks, and how to use them, to search over on my YouTube, or actually, no, I'll make it easy for you. I'll put a link at the end of this video that will go to the vision board video when it's ready, and it will also be underneath. Okay, so all right, we are talking today about affirmation cards, positive affirmation cards. And the reason you and I are having this convo, we can thank my mom for the topic idea. I gifted my mother my decks of affirmation cards. I always give them to her. The first ones, the African Goddess affirmation cards, when these, were in the works, like I would send her all the time, pictures and affirmations and quotes and ask her what did she think of certain things, and those she uses, she's like very, very into. But I recently gave her a gift of my Womanifesting cards. This is my worn deck because this is the one that I use. Let me show you a new deck. My Womanifesting Fertility Goddess affirmation cards, and she enjoyed them. She said they were beautiful, but then a few days later she came and she said, I don't know how to use these. So I thought some people might be wondering the same thing about other decks of affirmation cards. So let's just have an affirmation card conversation. Now, at the time of this recording, this is the time for this because we are closing out one season, closing out one year, stepping into another. That's why at the beginning of this video that I said I was from manifestyouryear.com, which is my program where I help you to plan a map, for the next season of your life. So it's more than it's not just another vision board party, but it's us literally mapping out every area of your life. So it's the perfect time to talk about affirmation cards. And so first I'm going to start off showing you some of my favorite decks. Now, I have to tell you, I have had affirmation cards before I had a driver's license. I've forever been into affirmation cards. I remember there was a deck, and I still have a few of the cards with Maya Angelou's quotes. I tried to find it the other day on Amazon, but they're only selling used copies. And because I gave them away to a lot of people, I tend to give away affirmation cards. And even before I had my own decks, that I used to on business cards, have affirmation cards made up and, be giving them to people that way. So I've been manifesting being the queen of the affirmation cards for a long time. So this is something that I'm really passionate about. So here are some of my favorite decks. Okay. This is Getting into the Vortex by Esther and Jerry Hicks. I adore Abraham and Abraham Hicks. I have been following them thanks to my friend Leslie Lewis Sword for over 10 years, maybe 15 years now, and they've been transformational in my life. And I love these cards. This is a deck of 60 cards, and it's specifically around relationships, and it's called Getting into the Vortex. And every card, you can see, has an affirmation at the bottom about relationships. So a deck like this, pretty simple to use. And this what I'm going to tell you would apply to all decks. You can use them by just reading the affirmation daily. So you can use them for inspiration, right? Or motivation. This one has a coaching lesson on the back where it goes deeper. You can use them for self-coaching purposes. You can use them for divination, to just pull a card and be like, all right, where am I in terms of what do I need to know for the next year for my relationships? Very dangerous. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the one that I pulled said, life is supposed to be good for me. Yes. Right? And then it has a whole lesson on the back. So I'm going to put this on the side so that I can read this later. So you can use them for purposes of divination, which means using them as an oracle to, you know, help you to figure out if you are on the right track or what track you should be on. And then there are different layouts of readings that you can do. And actually, you know what would be really cool if there were one place you could go where all of this was. So I will put this all at sacredbombshell.com/best affirmation cards. And I will put all of the cards I show you today, and I will include a link to a couple of blog posts I have that I think will be helpful. How to do a simple layout with affirmation cards, to do divination, to read your present, read your past, read your future, you know, what your intentions are, how to use them. I'll put all of those links at sacredbombshell.com/best affirmation cards. So that's that deck, which I love. Then there is, oh, which one to show you? I have so many. I'm an affirmation card junkie. This is a new deck that I recently received, and I think it was created this year by Vicky Ayala, who is an Instagram friend. And I love this card, these cards. It's called Sacred Journey Oracle Deck. It says, be on purpose, embrace your authentic life. And what I really like is that her business is about branding. You can work with her to, I think, build your website, design your website, do branding as well. And she uses her cards as a part of that. And they're really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. You see that? Really gorgeous. For people who are into mandalas, which is what this is here, mandalas are sacred geometrical designs. That's how I define them anyway. They have positive words here, and gorgeous deck. I'm so excited about this deck, and I haven't even, like, you know, I've just barely started playing with them. Beautiful deck. There's another deck that I've had for a really long time called the Goddess Affirmation Cards, the Goddess Gifts. These come 36 cards in the deck. And this deck as well, there are not 36 cards in here because I've given them away. Like, sometimes I meet people and I feel like inspired to give them a card, which is why it's cool that now I have my own affirmation card decks. So I don't have to break up the other decks that I have. I can give them a card, and it's usually crazy right on point. I'm trying to remember what this woman's name was. I felt called to give her a card, and the card was the goddess Candisa, spelled Qundisa, and it was a sexual goddess card from my African Goddess Affirmation deck. And I'd met this woman when I was a speaker at. She was on the staff of the Essence Festival, and I was a speaker at the Essence Festival. But I still felt embarrassed to go up to her and give her this card, this, you know, and, you know, it just was weird. And when she picked the card, she said, oh my God, this is right on point, because she had just gotten married, really within a couple of 2 days. Her name was Kwan. Yeah, her name was Kwan, and the card was Candisa. So it felt like it was just for her. And that happens all the time. Even, you know, when I've been in audiences that I feel like are receptive audiences, I will give out one card to everyone in the audience as something that they should look into for deeper meaning in their lives. And it's almost always on point. So yeah, so I love this deck of goddess cards. It's by Amy Zerner and Monty Farber, who, if I remember correctly, were married at the time that they made this deck. It's an older deck, so it may be harder to find, but it's a really, really great one. There are people who, like Doreen Virtue, she has a lot of angel cards because all of her work is around angel magic. And so, you know, there are people, if you follow certain people, they'll have, you know, different versions of different decks. So, well, no. Let me correct that. They're not different versions of different decks, but different interpretations of their teachings through different decks. So, you know, here's another deck that I really like, Denise Lin. She also has several decks. She is a Hay House author, and these are her Gateway Oracle cards. Beautiful. This is a 44 card deck and a guidebook that they will often come with a guidebook, sometimes, but not always. Here's a guidebook. Sometimes they will have, like my cards, have a downloadable guidebook because my audience, like me, tends to be more into downloading things. Although with this new deck that I have coming out, I haven't even talked about this publicly, but I'll let you know. It's going to be called Oshun's Oracle. and I'm doing it with one of my favorite artists, and it's gonna be beautiful. So we may do a physical guidebook. I'm thinking I may do a physical guidebook to go with it, just because her artwork is so incredible. You want to live in it. So yeah, so this is Denise Lynn's deck. And for those that come with a guidebook, it's really handy because then you can just look up and just see what the cards mean and that sort of thing. Mine, like I said, come with downloadable guidebooks and other treats that people can find. This book goes with this deck, which is the Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle deck. See, it's interesting because this deck inspired me. It's by John Holland, who is a medium. He talks to your dead folks after they've moved on. And this is a 65 card deck. And this was inspirational to me because he calls it a tarot and an oracle deck. And tarot cards are traditionally very rigid in the number of cards that they have. They're usually 78 cards. It's like a very exact science. Oracle cards, on the other hand, tend to be a little bit more, you know, the interpretation, the channeling of the person that created them. So I've been feeling like I wanted to create a tarot deck, but the 78 card structure hasn't spoken to me yet. And so it's interesting because I feel a little bit more free with this deck to create. So I'm still receiving guidance on the Oshun's Oracle cards. And so I will see whether those turn out to, we'll see. Stay tuned and see, you know, what Oshun's Oracle turns out to be. But this is Psychic Tarot of the Heart, also around relationships and manifesting, and really, really beautiful. As I'll talk about in the vision board video, which is not this video, one of the things that you can do is that you can include affirmation cards on your vision boards, which I think is really, really lovely. I'll show you, even though that's not this video, I'll show you on an old, these are all old vision boards that I have on an old vision board, how I incorporated. So this one, for example, has some Dr. Wayne Dyer affirmation cards, right? Detach yourself from stuff. And then it even has, like, this was my business card back when I had my novel Dare came out. And then this was cool. This was when I used to make affirmation cards myself out of business cards. And so that was one of the ones that was related to my novel Dare. Yay. So there are all kinds of ways that you can use affirmation cards. Like I said, you can use them. Some of them are made specifically for certain purposes. Like with my African Goddess affirmation cards, I specifically designed them for not only divination and inspiration and motivation, but also self-coaching. So each and every card, I keep them keep them here, but each and every card has on it a lesson on the bottom. So this says Abiola's Goddess Lesson, and then it's a very detailed lesson. See, at the top it has the goddess, and these were contemporary images of African goddesses. And so this one, for example, Goddess of War, right? And then the affirmation is, I stand up for my beliefs in the face of opposition. Then this is the Sekhmet, the Egyptian goddess, inspired this teaching. And then it has a detailed, let's see, detailed lesson. Do you really believe that you have the power to create change? How can you ensure that you live a more enchanting and captivating life? Find examples in your past when you've done so. See, I give homework on each card. Tap into this energy with the fierceness of Sekhmet, Egyptian goddess of war. See, so yeah, so certain cards are designed very specifically for specific teachings. And this is a great example of how, you know, like remember I was saying Doreen Virtue has different decks of angel cards, but there, you know, there really is no, people say, well, what's the, you know, what's the difference between this deck and that deck? They're different channelings of the different teachings. So whereas Oshun's Oracle cards that I am coming out with, they probably will be African Goddess self-love cards. That's what I'm thinking they will be. they still, even though these are African goddess affirmation cards, they are not going to be the same deck because they're coming from a different place with different teachings and a different channeling, a different message. And it's the same way that, for example, I consider myself to be a self-love and self-worth revolutionary, right? The midwife for your inspired life. However, I could give 10 speeches and they would all be about self-love and self-worth, but they could all have totally different topics and themes and resonate with different people. So I always say, go with the cards, go with what resonates in your soul, with what you feel in your bones. And the cool thing is about the African Goddess Affirmation cards is that for this new year, if you order them right now, I've upgraded the quality of the cards because these cards, the newer deck, the quality of the cards is just so, it has added to the experience where each card is woven with linen and you can like feel them. I like to smell things and you can like smell them. I smell like my leather things like all the time. I feel like you get the vibrational energy. I know I'm weird. What are you gonna do? So these cards are a different physical experience using them because they're the tactile nature of them. I upgraded the quality of the African Goddess Affirmation cards while keeping them the same price just because. So these cards, this is the back of my Womanifesting card deck, and it says ask, believe, conceive. The focus of these cards is manifesting. This is the Womanifesting card deck. Again, I'll post this all at sacredbombshell.com/best-affirmation-cards, but you can always find my card decks at shop.sacredbombshell.com. Shop.sacredbombshell.com. So these cards specifically draw a parallel between and giving birth, creating life. And so they have the compliment was like, how do I use these cards? So you can use them at a very simple level with a card the same way, use them for a daily inspiration or divination, and each one is a different goddess and has a different principle, and then an affirmation on the bottom, right? And you can download the book and find out who is Goddess Ninima, where is she from? She's Babylonian. But you can find all of that out by delving deeper. The cards is that they are just like, you know, old traditional like playing card decks have queens, kings, spades, and diamonds. Those are the 4 card suits. These have suits as well, where the suits here are conception, birth. Let me see, conception, birth, nurturing. I'm leaving one out. Conception, gestation. And in order of it's, so of course it's conception, then gestation, then birth, then nurturing. The way that you manifest an idea is the same way you manifest a baby, right? Conception, gestation, birth, bringing it out into the world, and then nurturing it. So these cards are specifically around manifesting, and I'm so proud of them. I so love these cards. And they're based on fertility goddesses around the world. So the African Goddess Affirmation deck is African goddesses from the African diaspora. The Womanifesting card deck is goddesses from every culture, but all fertility goddesses. So this is Ixchel, who I'm remembering is, I believe she's Aztecian. But of course you can find all of that when you download the booklet. And she is, and her principle is truth. The after things has my city. Yeah, I'm really proud of this deck of affirmation cards, and people have been doing some powerful work with these cards. So it's really wonderful to see. And I wanted to pay homage to the African Goddess Affirmation deck, and so the same goddess that I have on the cover here, a similar illustration I have here. I just wanted to just show some love for the previous deck, showing that I'm building on those teachings. And this is Mami Wata, who is an African kind of mermaid goddess, and she takes different forms in different countries. Like in Guyana, where my parents are from, I think they call her the water mama. That's what she's called. And her teaching is oneness, and it's a gestation card. So this is, you would pull this, and then it means that whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, it's in the gestation period, right? When you're gestating a baby, it's cooking. And the affirmation is, I'm divinely connected to the source of all that is. So I hope that was helpful, because it is a more complicated deck. You pull it if there's something you would like to manifest. Like, let's see. Well, I was going to say going to Bali, but I already have the Abundance, Pray, Love Bali retreat, which I hope you join me on at abundancepraylove.com. But I'm considering going to Australia actually in February, but I'm going to be in the UK, and I'm going to see how the dates work out, because I'm going to be in UK, be in Paris, and there's a conference I want to go to in Australia, so let's see if it'll all work out. So I would shuffle the deck with all the cards in there, which they're not right now because of them in my hand. And I like to shuffle 7 times. People have different numbers that work for them. And then you pull a card and you see, ooh, it says birth pains. Now, what does that mean? Let's see. Okay, this is a birth card, meaning that I'm giving birth to it. And it's Goddess Kali, which, as we know, is one of the fiercest goddesses out there. See, Kali, Hindu goddess Kali. And it says, I embrace the divine beauty and the sacred mess of the creation process. So the way that I would interpret that is that there may be a little bit of, you know, struggle energy around trying to get this done because of schedule conflicts, etc. But birth to me means it's going to work out. Yeah, so Australia, here I come. So that's one of the ways that you can use this deck, the Womanifesting card deck. Okay, now this other deck, the answer card deck, is very interesting. I bought this maybe about 10 years ago in this little store in Santa Monica, in California, Los Angeles. And I went into this store, and I was not very deep into this work the way that I am now. I just started to tip my toe, just started to listen to Abraham Hicks, was reading Jack Canfield and a lot of other New Thought leaders and teachers, Jan Levincent, etc. And I bought this amethyst stone, like drew me in. I still have that piece of amethyst, pulled me in. I bought that, and I bought this answer deck as well. And I've had it since then, and it just sat on my shelf. And you know, usually I would recycle something that's just sitting there, but it didn't seem like I needed to give it away, but it was just sitting there waiting to be used. And then I just recently just was like, oh, the answer deck, what's that? And got into it. And so it's really cool because this deck is focused around clarity. So it has these little cards, which are really adorable. And it has also, let me see. And the little cards each have like clarity around whatever it is that you're trying to answer. Oh, and like this one says, mistake, retreat, go back. They are not mincing words. This one says change. So these cards are very direct with you about whatever it is that's going on. And what I like about this card deck, and it's something that I may emulate for a future deck, is that not only does it have a little booklet in here, which is pretty cool, but it also has somewhere in here, or at least it did 10 years ago, here it is, like a fold out chart of how to do readings, exactly how people could lay out the readings. I think this would be helpful, right? I should probably do this for my next card deck. Yeah, I'm thinking I need to do this for a future deck. And it shows you exactly how to do a reading to get the, it says, see here it says future cards, it says past cards, and it's very clear and very direct. So that's the answer deck, which, you know, like I said, it sat patiently waiting to be used on my shelf, and then like I moved and moved several times, and it came with me sitting there on the shelf like, I'm here when you need me. And then all of a sudden, there it is. It's in play. It's in the mix. Those are some of my favorite cards. Let me see if I got everything. Tarot of the Heart. Yeah, those are some of my favorites that are in play. A card deck should definitely speak to you because it takes on your energy. You know, I will also include at sacredbombshell.com/best affirmation cards a link that I have about how to prepare your sacred cards. There are different ways that you could prepare your cards. I like to, you know, you can put them in the light of the moon. You know, the full moon is cleansing energy, the new moon is manifesting energy, creation energy, pulling in. So whatever speaks to you, you can take them to the beach with you. I like to have them and carry them around with me so that they then have my energy and my feeling in them. You can replace the packaging that they come with, like I've done with my African Goddess affirmation cards, and have them, you know, my little Vendel girl bag. You know, you can have them in ways that speak to you. That's the most important thing, that there is, for me, no right or wrong answer. And maybe that's why the 78 card tarot, I'm having resistance to it. I'm a natural contrarian. So for me, it's not about tapping. It's not about, you know, this way or that way, the right way or the wrong way. It's about using your own internal guidance and trust for the card deck that speaks to you. And you'll have a different relationship at different times with different decks. And so, you know, as the Wayne Dyer card deck here says, that it's all about the power of intention. All about the power of intention. So that's what's up. Give me a thumbs up if you found this to be helpful. I will, at the end of this video, when it's available, put a link to the upcoming vision board do's and don'ts video. You can find everything that I talked about in this video at sacredbombshell.com/best affirmation cards. And if you want to plan an amazing year with me, go to Manifest Your Year, manifestyouryear.com, and sign up right now. All right. Oh, and of course, you can get my Womanifesting cards or my African Goddess cards at shop.sacredbombshell.com. All right, my loves. Namaste. The sacred bombshell in me sees, adores, and accepts the sacred bombshell in you. Let's do big things. Yes. Yay.